continually updating them or saying we no longer need this one, let's replace it with that one. That's what
Y'all like me to go through mine, or actually, yeah, most of them really are. The one difference I added is a banding procedure to separate large applicant pools into more manageable numbers. Take, for instance, the group we're testing right now. We're interviewing 41 people for basically five positions. You know, if you get an eligibility list of 20, 25 people, you can generally get that. The way the system is set up now, if you take the if you pass the physical fitness and you pass the test, you have to be interviewed by the Civil Service Board. If it's 5 or 500, so this just gives us a more manageable number to deal with in the applicant pool, and it separates them if some wash out of the top and we need to bring some from the bottom band. You can just bring them out. The other thing is an accelerated candidate process. I guess you could call it a lateral process. It's for already certified officers who are employed with an agency. It would basically remove the written test component, but they would have to comply with all other standards, background, psychological, but they would also have to pass the physical standards because of our wellness ordinance, our physical fitness standards ordinance. That is a popular discussion item with our people. And really, the only other thing that's really popular, if I'll take you to the bottom, the last one, it's add a provision to allow a sworn police officer to purchase their handgun upon retirement. We would declare the property as surplus. The officer, or generally it would be a group of officers, would pitch in and buy that officer's service weapon for a fair market value, and then we would replace the weapon with a new one for the new officer that takes their place. I think that would be a very nice sentiment from the city, and our officers would appreciate that. Let's see. Oh, one other thing that came from the troops: if a police chief vacancy occurs, expand the candidate pool to the next 2 lowest ranks. The current ordinance has 1 lower rank, but also if the city decides to go outside for applications, to at least consider the a similarly ranked person, within the department. Take, for instance, the way the ordinance is written now, the division commander could be considered, but a sergeant from Lawrenceburg or someplace else from outside could apply and be accepted, where one of our sergeants couldn't be considered. Right. So, just kind of a heads up, if you're going to consider all ranks, consider them all within our department too. Other than that, I think most of the things were touched on by the fire chief.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossovers. And just to reiterate, we're trying to move this forward as fast as possible. So that means putting this in for Randy. I know he's got his hands full. I think that's the first step, is to get it formatted the way we want it. Like, meet with the troops, go over line by line, meet with the civil service board for their input. And then and I guess probably before you want to see it, give it back to the commission for their approval before we put it in final form for your approval, right?
Well, I just need to put it in final form so it shows the strikeouts and additions. And when you talk about comprehensive of changing the layout of the chapter, it's a bear of a task to do. So
it won't be as bad as chapter 37.
Famous last word. but anyway, I certainly think the commission should look at it before we put it you know, should have a chance to look at it again at least one more time before we put it in strikeouts and additions, just because they may say, no, we don't want this provision, and that could affect several of the proposed revisions. If that's acceptable to the commission, of course, you all are driving the boat.
And that's just more chance for us to review it and dot our i's and cross our t's, so.
And you're right from the ring of thought.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all. Next discussion item is the preliminary budget for next year. Although we do not yet have the departmental worksheets submitted. Each year that's available about the end of the month, end of February. Although we don't have that in yet, several commissioners wanted to know the status of our budget as we enter into the budget process for 2012-2013. And so, Mr. Dawson, would you come forward, please?
Before Mr. Dawson, come on, it's okay, Mr. Dawson, come on up. Before he starts making his report, and I'd like to wait till Mr. Turner comes in here, because I would like to respond to an email in which I was listed, mentioned in there, and I think the wording was in the email. It may pertain to Mr. Dalton, and I want to have some clarification, if you don't mind. And just sort of hang out here just a minute. Mr. Turner gets back, because I want all people to hear that. Yes, sir?
Mayor, while we're waiting for Commissioner Turner, I just want to point out, I think that Commissioner Turner raised a good issue on, or a good point with respect to the standard operating procedures of the fire department. If they are going to be referenced by ordinance, of course, we'll have to look through those to make sure that you all have some type of understanding, because sometimes the devil is in the details, and I just wanted to point that out.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So don't make me just wait a couple, whatever his problem is or his issue is, to get back.
To follow up on that, then, I guess that'd also be something. I'd say the folks who are the most familiar with the SOP would be the rank and file, and so that's definitely one of the things that we expect to hear back from them.
Okay, good. We kind of reset the trust back.
We thought you were going to get pizza.
Okay, before we, what I've requested, Commissioner, because we want to have a preliminary report on the budget, and I requested before you got here, so I feel like I need to say something, because all of you are aware of the emails that running around. The other day, I saw an email that was written by Commissioner Wilder on February the 8th and sent to Mr. Goins, and then was copied to everybody regarding tonight's agenda. And this, for people to understand, the mayor keeps telling the public that he has seen evidence that the commission has already added about $2 million to the next budget. And Steve has even confirmed that estimate in public meeting. If staff can discuss the budget with the mayor off the record, and then you means Mr. Goins, back to discuss it with the rest of us next Tuesday, which is tonight. We can at least discuss the material that staff has already shared with the mayor. I'm going to bring this up, whether you want me to or not. I'm just noting that we should add this discussion to the agenda in the interest of transparency. Normally, I would not address this just because Commissioner Wilder said I'd been making some public statements. However, because in this memo, he says that I've been getting information from staff. In fact, nobody else has. So I just want to talk to you, I want to let you know what I've been saying. I've said it publicly. I want to tell you what I say publicly. Almost verbatim. I tell people that when I ran for mayor, my first top priority was to be fiscally responsible and accountable. That's what I said first. And that is what I've tried to be since I've been here. And I will continue to be. Now, the information that I have is information that each of you have. I have not had any secret meetings with any staff member. And I want to point out what information I have that I've been describing to people. One, I say, when I talk to people, and I said it to the women's club, and I'll probably say it tomorrow to the Optimist Club. But I say this, I have a concern about us being fiscally responsible and accountable. And I say, I've said a lot of things before, but this is in essence to address this particular email. I said, in 2009, the city of Frankfort received, on our total, for revenue flow, $30.6 million. Now, you all have access to that. In 2010, we received $30.7 million. Now, the budget, I tell people now, the budget that we passed last June was 31.1. The anticipated revenue for this particular year was 30.9. So I simply say, we passed the budget that was about $200,000 more than what we were anticipating, never knowing how much was going to come in, but what we were anticipating. Okay, so then I say to people, what it concerns me is that revenue flow has been sort of level. And so since we passed the budget in June, we have had budget amendments that has now gotten that $31.1 million up almost to $32 million. And I tell them what it was. I said we passed the budget amendment for $202,000 with the employees' raises that was added. Then I said to them that we also passed a budget amendment of $215,000. That was for the garbage container. $200,000 and $15,000 for a survey. Then we've also passed one for snow plow replacement. $44,185. Then we passed a budget amendment of $300,000, which included a garbage truck, a hiring of a code enforcement officer, and then buying garbage bags. Now we're going to pass one for $130,000 for the roof replacement. So that comes out to $892,000 that you add to that $31.1 million, and that comes out to $32 million. And I say that's what it is right now. As I talk to you right now, that's what our budget is. That's what our budget is right now. And it's open to every one of you. You have voted on those budget amendments. You have seen the budget. Okay. Now then I also say to them, I'm concerned about the upcoming budget because there are some recurring costs. One thing that we know is going to come up is because of the 2% we passed. Now it's going to be, rather than $200,000, it's going to be $400,000. So that's a $200,000 addition that's going to happen. And then also we have pensions are going to go up roughly $200,000. That's a given. Then we have to pay medical insurance, and every year, since I've been around, medical insurance has gone up at least 10%. So we got a $3 million medical insurance bill, payment. So then that's another $300,000. It's going to be what we have to deal with on this budget that we're going to start working on. So that's another $700,000. Now, if you add that $700,000 to that $32 million and seven, I guess, other points out there, it's now we're going to be then starting off here with this. We know we're going to be there, $32,754,000. Okay, now I know we don't know how much money will be coming in this year, but we anticipated for this current year 3.9. So we've been going up about $100,000, $200,000 expectation a year, which may be cautious, but at least we're going up there. So I'm assuming, I don't know if assuming to get you in trouble, but when we start working on this new budget, that we're going to be looking at something 30.9, 30, or 31 or something like that. I would assume. I do not know that. But I also tell them, now, I'm also concerned, and I think I have a right to say this, and I will continue to say this. I'm also concerned because of some comments that have been made by our commission. One saying that we're thinking about wanting to bring back longevity. Now look, I'm not against employment. But if you bring back longevity, which has been applied in these meetings we've had, longevity that we phased out was 3%. So I'm just going to say, okay, if the commission has the votes, they want to bring back longevity and 3%, that's going to be another $200,000 a year. It's going to be built in there. Then, likewise, I've heard say on this commission that there's no objection on the part of some, at least, to talk to the employees, like meet and confer with the employees union. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but when I served in the General Assembly, and legislation would come before us and they talked about meet and confer, I was told, and I can't tell you who told me, but I was told that if a governing body meets and confers with an employees union, they have in essence recognized that union. And therefore you have professional negotiations. And now, all the reports I've gotten, about 2 years ago, I contacted League of Cities and asked them, there's about 7 or 8 cities that have, recognized unions. What impact can you do from studies to see what would affect the budget? And it was significant. I looked at Frankfort. By the way, our pay scale for protection services really ranks up there pretty good with those who are unionized already. When you start looking at per person, we're about third or something like that. Last time I looked at that. But anyway, if that happens, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what y'all want to do. But if that happens, I just want the public to be aware that that's going to be almost without exception additional costs. Now, if these things like this, what I just mentioned to you that we know is going to happen, that's $32 million. Right now, it's $32 million. And these other things is going to happen, which will come up to 32.7. Then maybe some more possibility. Now, I do not apologize for saying for those things, because these are facts. These are figures that we have. And the reason I'm commenting tonight is because the tone of this email said that if staff can discuss the budget with the mayor off the record. Staff has been criticized publicly here in the past. I don't like that happening. I don't want staff to be criticized publicly or any matter of things that I've gotten that the rest of you have not had access to or could get, or any citizen could walk in off the street and get. It's all transparent. All totally transparent. Now, I am concerned, I'm concerned about tones of emails. There's another email, this one I'm here, I'll shut up and go. And have Mr. From Mr. Dawson come on here. On the 8th, an email to Ramona Newman. And we were talking about topics for us to discuss tonight in other meetings. Says one of this is from Commissioner Wilder. One of this commission's top priorities is transparency. If we know we're going to discuss something, we should add it to the agenda. I requested a number of items be added to the agenda. I did not make the request of staff per se. I was requesting agreement from at least 2 other commissioners. Commissioner Turner agreed in full. Commissioner Hedden agreed that we need to discuss these items, but suggested that we set the ordinance discussion aside until later, which I happily conceded. By my count, 3 commissioners have still agreed to discuss the following items for tonight, and Monday next week puts them down here. Then he said, according to the revised statute, the city manager has no legal authority to dictate the agenda to the commission. I think we all know that. You need to make the changes that have been agreed to by a majority of the commission. But then this is what gets me, is that next little sentence. This is not a request. Now, I want to ask you, commissioners, I mean, you don't have, see, these are the kind of things, there's a tone to these emails that I pick up. I don't know if y'all do or not. I pick up a harsh tone to these things, and I pick up a tone that this is somebody who's in power, who likes to exert that power. And I find that offensive. I'm just speaking from one. There's 4 of you. I know I can be outvoted 4-1, 3-2, whatever that may be. I don't worry about those things. But I don't want, as we go into this discussion here, I don't want you to be chastised or any other person in City Hall that I'm getting secret information or that y'all don't have access to, because it's just not factual. And so I would like to know, you don't have to answer this, but I would like to consider if the tone of these emails, do y'all agree with that? Because, see, if silence is there, then this is our leader. I mean, he leads us. And it's okay, but I just don't like the tone of these things, and I think it makes us dysfunctional, and I don't like to be a part of that. I'm not a kid, been around a while, I don't like it, and that's all. Now, Mr. Dawson can make his presentation. Mr. Dawson.
Oh, excuse me, Mayor. I would like to respond. I'll be respectful.
I tell you what, I'm going to let you respond, but I'm going to take a walk. I've only said things that are truthful. And if you want to talk to me later, I'll be glad to talk to you later. But this is factual. You will get your chance. You talk all the time.
I'm not looking to refute you, Mayor. I'm looking to discuss this with you.
Pardon?
Can we please discuss this?
I don't care to discuss it with you, Commissioner. You know, I've seen so much action and trying to downgrade people. I've seen this man being told, in essence, he's a liar. Essence is a liar. I sat here one night and you called me in essence, a liar. Well, you said the commissioner makes some good, the mayor makes some good points if they were only true. And when I walked into McDonald's a few days later, one of my best buddies from a long time said, "Why didn't you hit that guy?" He said, "He called you a liar." Well, see, I don't like, I lose my composure. I try to not lose my composure. But I don't like to be, the inference in these emails are the one about me telling the public. The mayor's going around telling the public, "Yeah, I am. And I'm going to continue to tell the public what my concerns are." And that's all. I'm coming down now.
I really think some of what you're saying is very legitimate. Tone, emails are tricky, as in anything in writing, because everything reads a little harsher than it's intended. And I certainly put a strong tone in here, but first, I think there are a couple of misunderstandings that we don't need. We have plenty to argue about, Mayor. Don't get me wrong.
I understand.
Not all. I think some of this can be cleared up a little bit.
I don't know who your source was. You said the mayor's going around saying all this. Oh, here, let me say one other thing, Commissioner. You said, it said, where he said that I have excess or something, has been given or has seen evidence. I don't know who told you I'd seen evidence.
Here's the point I was making, Mayor. I'm sorry that wasn't very clear, because we also got some emails back from staff, and I don't know if you saw those. But I'm not even trying to infer, and I certainly didn't claim that you had access to some secret evidence that the rest of us haven't seen. I think you would agree that the breakdown